and welcome to Hope Community Services' first ever podcast. I'm your host for today, Jane. I'm a program manager here, and joined by me today are...
My name is Hong. I'm the executive director at Hope Community Services, and I've been at this position for 5 years now.
I'm Krystal. I'm program manager at Hope, and I've been here for about 2.5 years.
Nice. Thank you for the introductions. And since this is our first ever podcast episode, some people at home might not be familiar with who we are. So can you guys talk a little bit our origin story?
Okay, so Hope have been around since 1996, and our main mission is to strengthen and empower our community members through education, through social services, through health, and other programs for community members ages even from young to old. So I would say from 5 to over 65.
Yeah, we have so many different programs,
just
spanning all different age ranges and demographics, right? Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about like some of the programs that we have?
So I guess we can start from like the young people. Mm-hmm. So we have our summer school program, our Hope Summer School program for over 20 years now, and that's serving from K to 8th grade. And moving off that, we have our Spill the Tea. It's a group that talks about mental health related topics, and it's for ages 18 to 25. And then we predominantly serve the senior population. If Hong, you want to talk a little bit more about that.
So for our seniors program, we offer classes every day here at the center. And these classes are ESL or English as a second language classes. We also do citizenship classes, exercise classes, floral arrangement. Our goal is to keep our senior active and engaging in community events. So we also do occasionally trips that they can go out into, to field trip, we will call it, so that they can have this kind of social interaction to keep them from being isolated. We also do food distribution monthly. We offer health workshops with different topics regarding health and how to keep them healthy, keeping up with their health education for our seniors, and this take place every third Friday of the month. We also have community haircuts, and then a few times a year we do events that's culturally related. So for example, we do the Moon Festival celebration. We also celebrated the Vietnamese New Year, and we recently also have a couple of events that gear toward more younger families, so we can bridge that gap between the younger generation and the older generation. So we have picnic or outing event for families, and we also offer classes or just help in general. If family ever needed anything, we can be a resource for them.
Yeah, we definitely do a lot here at Hope Community Services. Now, speaking a little bit more about your roles in the organization, can you tell me more a bit about that?
So my role as a director, as executive director, is just to making sure that we're following our missions and serving as much people as we can by bringing different programs, making sure these programs are effective in what it does, and also playing the role of coordinating everybody, making sure that we have enough staff to carry out the tasks that are needed to keep our programs going, and also to bring in new programs, bring in new ideas, or if we see that there's a need in the community, then we'll make sure to find things that we can do to address that needs.
And then for me as program manager, kind of part of that is like carrying out the programs that we have and also trying to develop new ones based on the needs of what we think the community is in need of. And for me, I'm really zoned in on more of the youth programs and overseeing like summer school and then our Spill the Tea, and just in general also helping the other programs coordinating to see, as like Hong mentioned, like trying to bridge that gap to have more people involved, like not just single individuals, but maybe like the whole family. And also with that, gathering in our interns and like volunteers to help us support those programs as well. So I also manage them.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You both all do so much for Hope Community Services. I know that you've been here almost since the beginning of Hope Community Services, and Krystal, you've been here for a few years now, especially during our period of like growth since the pandemic. You guys want to talk a little bit about kind of your journey with Hope Community Services, or like the change you've seen over time here?
I think I've been here the longest. It's amazing to look back and say, well, I've been here over 20 years. I've started out as a volunteer in our summer school program, and then eventually, step into the role of coordinators, and then now becoming the director. It definitely there has definitely been a lot of changes, especially within the last 5 years, and even more within the last 3 years after the pandemic. We started out just serving the needs of the immigrant wave from the 90s. So back then it was just mainly services, so like hot meals every day, English classes, citizenship classes, more of that to get them adapting to the new lifestyle in America. And eventually we've reached out more towards youth and family. And this last 3 years, we've done so much more with health because of the pandemic. And we also focus more on the younger generations and bridging the gap. So our program, I have to say, have grew like almost quadruple in this last 3 years in terms of what we do. And it's just very interesting to see that shift, especially in the staff that we have in the office. We used to have mostly older, retired volunteer and staff at our office, but now we mainly see the younger faces, the more, the newer generation that is still wanting to help in the community, yet have better, more innovative way of doing it. So it's very interesting to see that.
And for me, so I actually interviewed here first in 2021, but during that time I was very adamant about like working with youth, and it was rough because that was also peak pandemic. Vaccines weren't out yet or anything, and so later on and during the summer I was called back to kind of be sort of like a program assistant to the summer school program. And from there it kind of turned into, let's have me help them with the after school program, and all of a sudden I'm at a vaccine clinic helping with the health side of things, and being a part of that, and doing social media, kind of wearing a lot of different hats, and eventually figuring out what programs I'm best equipped at helping to run, and also in the mix of things like supporting that. So it's definitely been a journey since then.
Yeah, it's definitely been very interesting seeing how we've grown and changed so much, especially in the past like handful of years. Do you guys have anything in particular that really stands out to you about working here at Hope Community Services, about your experience here?
I think right from the beginning when I started working here, the sense of community is big around here, because we all share that same personality of wanting to help and wanting to serve other people. And so I've always loved that sense in our office, is that everybody is here to help other people. So we're very nice to each other. We're very nice to everyone around us. And that sense of family is also big here. We're almost like a household of parents and kids and child and things like. So we interact with each other in a very comfortable way, where we don't feel that that workplace politics that you usually see in a corporate place or other places. We don't have any of that here. Everyone comes with open heart, with open mind, and accepting everybody's differences, and work very well together. And I especially like how reliable and independent all of the staff here are, so that I can always count on them even if I'm not in the office. So for me, that's very special about this place.
Yeah, sometimes when I think about how informal we are sometimes, almost too informal sometimes.
Sometimes.
Is there anything that stands out for you, Krystal?
No, echoing a lot of what Hom said, like a lot of that family aspect. I think when I joined on, one thing that I remembered early on was like Hom said, there's no like particular corporate culture or things like that. So I don't know when to take my lunch, or like I don't know where to eat it, you know. So I think within the first week, I was just eating it at my desk, and then whoever came over and was like, "Hey, eat with us," you know, and they had like food.
Yeah.
And over time, I'm like, "Oh, I don't have to bring food sometimes, but or sometimes I will."
Food
But
as a love language.
Food is something we have plenty here.
even like boba runs, someone's like boba, and I'm like,
Yes.
yes, you know. So having that, and then being able to have a chance to identify with more of my Vietnamese side has been really nice, since like growing up Vietnamese American, like born here, my family's Vietnamese, and then going to school and living in predominantly white or non-Vietnamese Asian areas. It's been nice to like be more in touch with my side here.
And that's definitely something that makes us as an organization kind of unique in the community, right? As
Yeah.
Vietnamese organization.
Right. I think we're one of the few Vietnamese organizations that have the most outreach to the community and actually do the work and actually have a physical location that people come to. Or when we say Hope Community at the Vietnamese Catholic Center, people know exactly where we are and know exactly what kind of things that we do. And it's also interesting to see the representation of hope in the community more so in the recent years, especially after the pandemic. With the pandemic, you know, we go out there to every little corner of the neighborhood to do vaccinations and to do promotions to give out information about, you know, how to be safe during the pandemic, how to handle COVID-19 and all of that. So I think because of that, we're known more to our other organizations, and other organizations know about us more in terms of when they think of a Vietnamese nonprofit organization, Hope like pop up. And for me to see that change compared to 20 years ago was very interesting and was very satisfaction to see, especially before. I remember whenever we have to go out or to apply for a grant, it was very hard for us to get it because not a lot of organizations know about us. Not a lot of people have connections with us, so it was very hard to do outreach or to connect with people in these organizations to get grant. But now within this past couple of years, we didn't have to do much outreach. People come to us, or when they have something in mind or some grant or some project or some topic that they want to work, then they just say, "Oh, Hope can do that for the Vietnamese community." So they'll reach out to us. So for me, I think that's the most successful change that we've seen in the last 20-something years.
I think it's been very fun seeing like the growth in our media and outreach. You and also one of our staff members, you guys handle like traditional media.
Yeah,
right,
so we
with
used to
radio?
only have a website, which was, and it wasn't even active. And we have our little corner in the newsletter weekly that comes out to the Catholic community. That was pretty much it that we had for like a good 15 years or more. But now we're everywhere. We're on
Radio Bolsa,
Instagram, we're on
TikTok.
Facebook, TikTok.
So new media, but also like traditional media. Like,
We're on the radios. Radio Bonsa once a month. We have a talk show there. We come on to the Catholic media a few times a year too, to talk about activities, and we go on, interview on TVs and local stations once in a while too. So
it's also very fun seeing us in the newspaper sometimes.
That's
as well,
true
for our
too.
big
Yeah,
events.
we have a newspaper too. So we're everywhere. You can search us up. We have every social media that we can think of.
So then continue a little bit about our work experience and stuff, right? Do you guys have like a favorite memory of working at Hope?
The top of my head is closing, whether it was like a vaccine clinic or the Hope Summer School ceremony. Like, I don't know why. It's just so specific, but I think it's just like by the time we're cleaning up that day, like we've already accomplished so much.
Mm-hmm.
And to see like everyone's still like staying after hours to kind of clean up everything and wrap up, and like we even make sure that we're fed at the end of that day
Yeah.
too, like don't go home hungry or like dissatisfied with like the work that we've done. So, and then like looking around and seeing how crazy everyone is, like I am, to be here at this odd hour, whether it's like late at night or setting up like early morning. I think that's like my favorite part of that.
Yeah, it's definitely really satisfying. I mean, exhausting, but also satisfying to see all of us come together, especially at the end of events, especially summer school. I don't know how we always do it, but it's like 9 p.m. and we're still here.
Yeah.
Pull out the
Full of
karaoke
energy
machine.
too.
Enough for karaoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite memory home?
I think one of the favorite thing, not necessarily a memory, but for me, what I always love to see is to see our past students or a past participant in our program so many years ago now grew up and come back to be like to be at a different role. So like past student becoming teachers of our summer school program, or past volunteers becoming a participant or lead certain program at Hope. That's always to me show what a great experience or memory that person had with Hope. So and then to come back to give back, or to be at a different role, it meant so much for me to see, because I see the impact that we have put on into that person. So yeah, I always, whenever I see somebody that say, "Hey, go home, remember me?" I'm like, "Yes, you were here in second grade, and now you're here as a teacher."
Yeah.
That to me was my favorite moment.
I think, yeah, sometimes, I guess I was kind of surprised myself, because when I first joined, I didn't realize just like how long this organization had been established in the community, and to hear like, everyone like during summer talk about like, oh, this person used to be a student here and they came back and they're like grown up already, they're teaching now. Wow, it's like it comes full circle.
Right. Yeah, it does, and it's amazing, and they all loved it so much. We had students who come to an age where they can't be here for the summer anymore, and they're like, "Can you please let me come back to volunteer or to do other things, because I don't know where else to go during the summer," like things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely really great. Do you kind of see, like in your mind, maybe not super far distant future, but in the near future, like what your dream is for the organization?
I think one of the things that I've always wanted for Hope is to be able to outreach to even more people than what we currently are doing right now. We have all these wonderful programs here at Hope for the seniors, for the youth, for the family, and sometimes the number of outcome participant is not as great as we hope it can be. So I always wanted to see like every single event, like completely full of participants and exceeds the number that we can meet. So that to me is one of the biggest goal that I want to have for Hope. And also I wanted to see that we can continue or open up more programs that involving youth and family, because I think currently we are kind of missing a little something. Is a missing link is there between the youth and the Vietnamese culture and the sense of community. So if we can offer that here, and that have more youth coming into our program so that they can get that sense of culture and community, and to bring that back to their family, to connect with the older generation, I think that would be wonderful. And of course, continue to grow with our current program, with the classes that we offer. Also hoping to have more food programs or pantry, or even bringing back the hot meals every day for the people in need. So that's something I'm looking forward to in the future.
I think to the point of hoping to increase our reach and our participants at our programs, especially that missing link between the different generations, right?
Yeah.
I know that for that group, that's like our family picnic event in the summer and our cultural event, And those have only been around for 1 or 2 years.
Right.
And even just the family picnic event, the growth between the first year and the second year has been like
That's
really
true.
amazing to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So yeah, first year we have like 5 families.
Yeah.
Second year we had like 50 families or
Yeah.
30 to 50 families. So that's
Yeah.
a big growth. But we want to reach out even more because
Yeah.
it's so necessary and it's so good for families. So
I think it's very promising though.
Yeah.
Like the future of those programs. Krystal, like what do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty biased toward the youth, so
Yeah.
it would be good to see like more youth programs or like more engaging, and because we have like a volunteer like base and interns that come in, like a way for them to kind of stay with us and also like
Right.
give back to the community,
Right.
maybe like sharing their experience like through we just wrapped up a mentorship program, and like I was noticing that it would be really cool. So our participants were mostly Vietnamese, and then our mentors were a mix of like different Asians, but imagine like if it was all Vietnamese
Right.
mentors mentoring the mentees in like different age groups, and like having that, and then fostering that sense of community
Right.
and a reason to like come back and support. And hopefully
Yeah.
that will like attribute to the link that we need between the youth and the older folks, and
Yeah.
like, but echoing back again with like the family picnics and everything and having those events, I think those were like really special, especially for the families themselves, like to have them engage with one another when they probably usually don't a lot of the time, and like giving them that opportunity to do that. I think it would be really cool to see more of those.
Yeah.
I think another thing that is kind of unique about the programs that we offer too is the unique safe space that we provide
Right.
here. I see that in kind of the mentorship program that you just mentioned, but also in the way that we structure things like Spill the Tea and our family picnic. I know that, I'm only like early 20s myself, but I remember being, younger in my teens and stuff, and I really wanted that kind of safe space or reliable adults or older
Yeah.
figures to be able to talk about like all my curiosities, all my burning questions about like the future, all my uncertainties. And I think definitely our programs here kind of like provide some of that space, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is like unintended, but like a very happy coincidence that is a product of all of our
Right.
planning and our projects. Yeah.
Right. Because I think, like with us being welcoming, with everybody being like be there to listen, be there to provide resource, be there to help. So that already in a way creating that safe spaces that you mentioned, and I think with the different age of staff member that we have in our office too, with different understanding from different generation, that kind of help as well, so that we're welcoming everybody and people feel like they belong here, and that here they can learn something, and that they can have a safe space to talk, to share. Yeah.
And we all have like different experiences and past things that we've been through that connect us, and I think that's really
Right.
special to how each staff member runs their program or like even
Yeah.
participates in one.
Yeah.
Like for example, we have a staff member, he's very connected to the seniors through his own personal experience.
Right.
And like for me, like being the person who I wanted, like you were saying, when you're a teen, like you want someone kind of a little
Right.
older, not your relative, but like more understanding. I think that
Yeah.
it shows in like how we implement our programs.
Yeah, definitely. So then, I guess, has there ever been a really challenging moment working at Hope? And perhaps like on the brighter side, like how we were able to, or you were able to get over that challenge?
I think for me, just time management, and also making sure that we put weight, we distribute evenly our dedication and passion toward each project is something that can be challenging, because sometimes when you do the same thing over the last 20 years, for example, our ESL classes, was like, okay, do I really want to do that again this year? Or like, even though there's only have not a lot of students coming, should we keep it, all of that. So but they are so important for the people, even though if there's 1 or 2 or 5 people that comes, it's still important to those 5 or those 2. So just, like balancing where we can put in our effort and our passion is something challenging for me, because I wanted to make sure that everybody is getting their needs met. Also, there was a period of time before I came on to be at this role. We kind of halt for 5 years, not doing a lot of new things, or not being able to receive any grants from the government. So we were like pretty much trying to fund our own with our programs. And I guess that was why when it was not really going anywhere, because our funding kind of also took a halt as well. So those 5 years were definitely challenging, but we overcame. We bring in new staff member. We decided to take on a different direction. We let go of some people, so we made some changes. So it definitely showed the result now of where we are. Yeah, so we're at a good place right now, and we're hoping to continue to grow from here.
Yeah. As with all the good things, I guess, like, doesn't come without challenges.
Right.
Yeah. So then, I guess, moving on to a little bit more funsies. We talked a lot about the organization, right? But we would love to hear a little bit more about the two of you guys.
Okay.
I flagged some questions from our other staff members to ask you guys. So we're gonna start with some fun questions first. What is a favorite childhood item or thing that you can remember?
An item.
An item or a thing,
From
something
childhood.
you were fun. Yeah. For example, when I was little, I had this Winnie the Pooh bear plush that apparently I really adored. My mom saw that I loved it so much, she got two just in case. So I'd always carry around one, but in case anything ever happened to him, I would always have a backup as I grew up, so that I wouldn't be too devastated if something happened to the original Winnie the Pooh.
Wow.
Can you think of one?
I'm still thinking.
I think there's been a lot of nostalgia. Like when we bring in very recently we bring food and stuff.
Yeah.
And snacks.
Well, see, I grew up in Vietnam. I came over here when I was 13. So now I'm trying to think, where should I put my childhood at? Is it Vietnam? Or is it here? 'Cause it's different. You know what I mean? But I think if it was what I remember most, growing up in Vietnam, it just not thing, but more for me, the memory is more of places that I've been to. And I think every Sunday, my dad would take all of us on a motorbike, four of us and my mom and him, 6 people, and on one motorbike.
Very
every
classy
Sunday.
Vietnamese,
Yeah.
yes.
After church, we would go to a cafe, a coffee place, to have breakfast. And I look forward to it every single week, because I guess that's when we all can be together and we can eat. And it just, now I'm imagining, I still can see so vividly, sitting on a motorbike being crushed in between all my sisters. But yet when we get to that place, we just sitting on to enjoy that moment, just eating breakfast, bread, baked pastry, and orange juice. And to me, that sticks with me all the time,
That's
even
very
up till
sweet.
now. Sort of, yeah. I guess it's more a thing. It's more like a memory. Yeah.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah, that reminded me of, because mine is a treat and a place. So because I've always lived 30 minutes away from the predominant Little Saigon area. So every week we would just go get groceries, and I don't even remember what groceries my mom would get, but I remember that I get to get a snack, and I always get a yan yan, the stick with the dips.
Yeah.
Either I like the
A
strawberry
yan
one.
yan. Yeah, they still have it now.
That
Yeah.
or there was a tin. Do they still have this where it's a tin of candy and there's powdered sugar in it?
Yes.
Yeah,
A tin.
it's
though.
a tin. Yeah, it's a nice
Oh.
tin, and it had a character on the top. And then it's flavored hard candy with some powdered sugar, and I would savor it.
Oh,
whole
you,
week.
you know this one too? I don't actually know this one.
You don't know that one?
No.
I don't know how I don't know. I think it's because I got appealed from the character, and then I just eat it.
Well, now
What is
my
it?
kids would have like there's a powder and there's a stick of candy that you dip in the powder and then you would lick it off the stick. It also come in a container, but not a tin, not
Okay.
with a character, but it's a powder and
Yeah.
candy that you
okay.
dipping. They always want it when we go grocery shopping too. So
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try it because it was like a tin and you just like tried
think-
it to try
I think it was
or
Hello
did
Kitty.
someone introduce it?
Oh,
Hello
okay,
Kitty, or it's
yeah.
right next to the gum,
Oh,
the fruit
okay,
gum.
Okay.
And I just saw it, and then I think my aunt maybe introduced it, but I don't remember that.
The boxes of spherical gum, fruit gums, are also very nostalgic.
Yes.
Yeah.
They lasted maybe like 30 seconds, but
You go through the whole pack in like one sitting.
Right.
Yeah.
okay. Another question. What is at the top of your bucket list? Just one thing that you can think of.
I think travel for me is my bucket list is full of travel places that I want to go to, but I'm not necessarily doing anything crazy, like not
yeah.
jumping off the bridge or
Yeah,
you know
bungee jumping.
skydiving, thinking like that, but just places that I want to go to.
If you only had one more place you could go to, where would it be?
Japan.
Okay.
And I know like I can go anytime, but I have 3 kids. The youngest is 1.5.
Yeah.
So we probably won't be able to go as a family until he's at least like 5 or 6 when he doesn't complain about walking. So probably another 5 years, but that's on my top of
I
my
hope
list.
that your 5-year-old child by then will have more of a tolerance to food. He is such a gourmet.
He is. I have so many stories of how good of a eater. I mean, not good eater, but how picky he is about food, and his taste bud is amazing. So,
What about you, Krystal?
Mine is also nothing crazy, like thrill seeking. Like I wish I could say like it was skydiving or something or parasailing, but it is travel. But I guess another one that may or may not be in control would be like, I don't know, meeting somebody that I really admire. Like I can't
Like a
think.
celebrity
Yeah, like
or-
a celebrity. Like right now I'm watching a lot of Gordon Ramsay, so it'd be
Oh.
really cool
oh
to
my
meet him.
gosh.
Or like I don't know, like just like an experience like that.
What do you think of the saying "never meet your heroes" though? For that one, you know.
It's okay. He just has to smile at me and say hi. I've seen his worst on TV. Hopefully.
I would froze if I see
know.
a celebrity that I love, like in real life. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not one that can jump, like want to hug them or anything. I'll
like
just
take a
be like-
picture. Yeah. I'm kind of shy too, but I want to.
Yeah.
I would want to see them.
Okay. But not too personal. Like you don't want to know too personally or anything.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, not to get to. I don't. He doesn't need to be my
No,
friend.
right.
We can just like to meet and say what I need to say, and then
Yeah.
move on.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like a lot of things for bucket lists would definitely be travel, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not a thrill seeker myself, so I wouldn't know about any other activities. Yeah, I just want to see more of the world.
Yes.
Especially prefer some of those places like disappear off the face of the earth, like
Like what? Give me an example. so I
like
can go.
Venice.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
No,
So I can
they're like
go.
sinking further into the ocean like
Oh.
as
because-
time passes.
Because the city is all water. That's how you
Oh.
transport.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And a lot of times, like even like the dry, like walkable places, like they flood,
Wow.
like several feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Imagine if Venice not around anymore. That's a lot.
I
of
don't know,
history.
maybe in your lifetime, maybe in the kids' lifetime.
Maybe. They probably
but-
don't know what Venice is right now.
Yeah, maybe want to look up some places that are prone to disappearing in your lifetime and
That's
get
a
that
good
off your
idea.
bucket list.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
All right, a little bit more of a serious question. What is something that people ask you that you have a hard time answering?
That's an interesting one.
I think my question that I've heard a lot, it's like an FAQ. But I always had a hard time answering growing up. It's like, who is your role model? That one is the one for me. Because personally, like strangers, like influential figures or something, they're like strangers to me. So I can never name them because I don't really dig too deep into someone I don't know personally like that. So I can never say them. But then I feel like it's also at some point when you're old enough, you view, or at least I view, like the adults in my life as being like, they're not the perfect human being that you might think as a child. So then I find it hard to name like a parent or something as my most admired figure. But yeah, that's like for me.
That's a good question. I mean, that's a good answer, because I feel like I also, when they ask what's your, there either be so many great role model out there that you don't know who to pick from, because you don't really know who each of them is, or how much influence they can have on you, or there's nobody like I just don't have one. That's a good one. What would be a question that people ask me? Well, I mean, this is silly, but I get asked all the time, and I get so annoyed sometimes I don't want to even give an answer. I have 3 kids already, but I always get asked, are you pregnant? Which is like the worst question to ask anybody, you know, like, because sometimes people look like they're pregnant, but they're not. And like I remember during my last pregnancy, I was so happy because when people ask me, are you pregnant? I can say, yes, I am. And I'm due like in this month. And now, like, even after 3 child, you know, it's there. It's hard to get rid of. So people ask me, when are you due? Are you having a girl,
so
boy?
awkward.
Or sometimes they even like touch me, like, when is it coming? I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. Like sometimes I just want to wear a shirt that say I'm not pregnant. Please don't ask. I don't know. That's just a silly one, but that's just
the
pop
touching
up
thing
for
is
me.
violating like all kinds of like, personal space, like physical space.
Yeah, but you know when you are a mom of 3, like after the second one, you already have a stomach that's always there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Man, those are 2 good questions. Mine, like, I could not stop thinking about, because this happens a lot, where it's like when a decision has to be made, but I feel like there's so much weight. Like when it's the basic question I thought of is, where do you want to eat? Just because.
Same here.
Because it's not like, I don't know. I think I'm making it too deep though, but it's just because I don't want the decision on me sometimes, or like I think a lot of experience. It's not always like even what do you want to eat, like what do you want to do. And I've had times it's mostly like linked to family though, where like we do it and they don't like it. So I'm just like, I don't like this anymore. So those, I find it difficult because I don't want to answer it. I don't want to figure it out. How to decide?
Yeah, do you have a strategy of some kind?
Well, like, so because I know I don't like that, I do have to put out at least a type of food.
Oh, a type. Okay.
And I'll help. I want someone. I'll collaborate with you a little bit, you know, to get there, right? Like I'll make them be like, well, what do you not want, you know?
So that's good. What do you not want? That's how you narrow it down.
I've experienced.
Do you try and narrow it down as a strategy?
So I'm like the food person of the family.
Oh, right.
People come to me when they want to eat something, or when they can't decide for themselves, they come to me because they think I'm always like eat good or know places to go. But that's one of the things I hate the most too, because I always wanted to decide a place where not what I want to eat, but what everybody would enjoy at the same time. So to me, I give a bunch of suggestions, or I would just pick. Like, I would decide if it'll help me decide if it's like the location, like where we at and how long it is to get to certain places, or if that place is have a long way, or the time, you know, if it's now 6:30, you ask me that question, we have 30 minutes to get somewhere. So just whatever most convenient, not a lie, and easiest to sit down. So that helped me narrow it down. But yeah, I hate that question. I'm like, always ask me, so what do we want to eat? I'm like, and I ask that 3 times a day because there's breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Definitely. My strategy for that one is that if it's between 2 people, like a friend or something, I ask them like, okay, one of us will put out like 2 to 3 options, the other one picks.
Okay.
As like a collaborative decision making.
That's good.
But if it's like a group, then yeah, I don't know. I think in a family with all different age groups and stuff, right? Like you can have Grams and Gramps and everyone. I think we just go with the pickiest eater and what they can eat.
Right.
Yeah, and center it around there. Because when my parents ask, because they always want to try new things, and I'm like, no, you guys don't. You want the same thing. So tell me what like you can eat or what you think you'll order there.
Okay, that was pretty good. A little serious, a little silly in the end. But that's all the questions I had for you guys today.
Okay.
As our first podcast episode, any closing remarks?
I'm excited that we finally have a podcast. I know we
Yeah.
talked about this for a while, and we had we had a radio station that we go on every month, but a podcast was something that we wanted to do to reach the younger generation, and here we are. Well, first one, so I'm very happy. Thank you, James, for putting this together, and I just hope that through this or other means, you can find more opportunities to come to Hope Community to see what we do, or to bring a friend to refer us to somebody, or to say, oh, Hope does that, so you can come. That is what I want, or what Hope really wants from all of this media, is to get our names out there and to be a source where you can come to whenever you need something, or whenever you see that there's a need in your community, your neighborhood, or in your family, that somebody needed something that we have to offer, then you can say Hope has it. So
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, we have a unique group of staff members with a lot of different backgrounds, and I'm assuming we're going to get to know everybody at some point. And if you want to learn more, we're on a lot of social media, again, at Give Us Hope OC on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. You can see our LinkedIn and our personal LinkedIns if you want to see what we do personally as well. But I hope that this is kind of another source of all the things we talked about earlier with our youth programs and reaching out and engaging with everyone. I hope this is another safe space for everyone as well.
Nice. All right. Thank you, Krystal.
you.
Signing off now.
bye.
Yes.